Hello and welcome to Let's Play Alliance. Today I will be teaching you how to do DaVinci Resolve color grading. DaVinci Resolve is a free video editor, and I will put the link to this amazing editor in the description. I am using the studio version, so it might differ a little bit from what you are using, but you can follow along this tutorial whether you have the free version of the editor or the studio version of the editor. So let's begin. When you get into DaVinci Resolve, you're usually sent here to the cut page, or the media page. Now, media page is where you take all of your files and then put them in your project. And then cut page is where you can quickly edit. Edit page is where you edit normally, like a classic video editor with the cut tool and everything. The fusion page is special effects. Color page, which we're focusing on this video, is for obviously color grading. Fairlight is for music and sound, and deliver is for delivering. So what I want you to do first is to make sure video bit depth is set to 10-bit. That will make sure that banding is least probable for this. Okay? Now, for general settings in DaVinci Resolve, what I want you to do, make sure Resolve memory is set to the highest possible, and GPU processing is set to your strongest GPU depending on what you have. Also, if you can, have a separate drive that you'll DaVinci Resolve will use for things like proxy files if you need to use those. Now, these things are, of course, for this thing right here is for the Pro version, where it makes MP4s play better, but that's no big deal. Okay, so what I want you to do is go into project settings down here and go to general options, as well as looking at color management for a sec. So color management, just make sure everything looks normal. And general options, I want you to go here, click luminance mixer defaults to 0, usually this is off, and then turn off use F's curve for contrast. That'll make sure that your colors look how you expect them. Those are usually things to prevent people from accidentally clipping stuff, but sometimes people want to clip things, but this will prevent them from doing it, so you won't have as much control as possible. So once you're done, make sure to go to presets, save as, and then make a config, and that's what I did. I did a system config and everything like that. So, and make sure when you do that to go right click and then set as default. Alright? It'll set default resolution, default, won't set default frame rate because the frame rate is depends on what footage you put in, and you can type it in when you begin the project, but you cannot change it afterwards. Alright, here we go. So, go into the color tab, and we are going to be checking out several different kinds of cameras. So first here is a phone camera. Now, phone cameras are made to make the image look good immediately. And thing about phone cameras is they are not really color adjustable because well, the footage is already in a very contrasty sort of light. So if you're editing phone footage, make sure to be careful. So where you're mostly going to be editing is here in the color wheels tab right here. And make sure that this over here is set to parade, or waveform if you prefer that, but parade is more accurate representation, showing you what's clipping and what's going down. There are all these other things, don't worry about them. Make sure this is set on the curves tab, don't worry about any of these other things. Now, to start, if you're working with straight up footage, pretty much do not touch lift, do not touch gain, do not touch these scrolling bars down here. If you want to mess with the colors,
mess with the colors. So let's say we want to get bluish shadows, yellowish highlights. And there we go, we got sort of a grade going on right there. As I said, you can't do much with this. So if you try to bring wheels around or something, look. Let's say I try to lift up the shadows. Yeah, no, that doesn't look good at all. Try to bring down the highlights or maybe change the gamma. No, looks grayish and disgusting. So that won't work. As you see, this is a really nice thing of footage with the taken with the phone. If, let's say I wanted to bring those clouds down, I can bring I can bring them down a bit. Can't do too much here though. If you want to do simple gray, go like with a classic blue, shadows and orangish highlights. There you go, simple color grade. Where it looks like a toxic wasteland. So if you ever want to reset something that you're doing, click here and it will reset all color stuff. Now, this is for the phone. If you want to get a really quick color grade, just something random, hit C on the keyboard and it will color grade your thing for you. Sometimes it looks good, sometimes it doesn't. I usually suggest do not do it. As you see here, what it did here is it added some contrast, which actually looks alright. So I will do the same thing here with the flower and just hit C. Now here it looks terrible, so I take it off. Alright, now we are switching to our amazing entry-level cameras. Alright, so entry-level cameras have a bit more leeway, where you can shoot flat footage. Well, not flat footage, but flatter footage. You usually use a neutral profile, turn the contrast down, turn the sharpness down too. So as you see here, we have some shadows that are up a bit, so we'll pull. So sometimes on editing applications it does be a bit jumpy with mice, but look at this. Pull the lift down, you get darker shadows, and it looks great. So then what you want to do is take the gain and pull it down without, trying not to have the whites clip. And then if you need to, pull up or down the gamma. And then you start to get somewhere, right? There we go. We got more stuff. Now here, the saturation will look a bit washy, so you can pull the saturation up down here and add some color back. There we go. Now we could do our classic lift gain scenario. Let's go with a deeper lift and actually add some gamma. Let's go red. Okay, so as you see here, completely different look from before. Before it looked kind of boring. Now it's got some character, some interesting stuff. Ah, yes, here's Mock, my faithful actor. Here we have an indoor shot, and it's using the same exact thing as before, and it's where he's supposed to be saying, what the hell, or something like that. Now, here, as you see, it's pretty dark. We're going to want to raise the gamma a bit. Now, raise it until skin tones, which I think is right here, because this is where Mach is on the image, are around almost the 50% mark. Then you can pull lift down. Looks like it pulled gamma up a bit too high, so we're going to go back here. You see, you don't really have much pulling weight when it comes to cameras like these. But as you see here, we were able to get something out of that. Look at the difference. There's the before, there's the after. Now here we can add some more saturation to make it look better, maybe 60%. 50% is the normal one, and then 0% of course black and white. If in a pinch, if you're in low light, because I know the free editor shows noise reduction, but it doesn't let you do it. Either pull down the lift, which will make the shadows darker, so the noise will be harder to see, or what you'll want to do is just make it monochrome, because monochrome really does help alleviate some worries. So if you want to, you can just add a yellowish thing, bluish gain, and oh, that looks weird. There, okay. That's a grade I don't really like so much, but maybe someone else will like it where it's bluish and then yellowish in the shadows. Okay. So now we'll move on to medium, mid-range flat settings. These are things that are film-like, and medium-range flat settings look absolutely terrible without color grading. As you can see, the sky looks terrible. As you can see, this guy with the gas mask looks terrible. As you can see, then there's noise and stuff like that, and look how underexposed the image is. So, of course, want to go to a place in your clip that shows everything best. Yep, that does it. Now, you're going to want to, for this one, since it's really dark, we are going to want to pull. If we wanted to really make it look normal, we'd pull up the gamma, pull down the lift. Then now it just looks like a creepypasta, so that doesn't work. Here it looks like I stylized it to be dark, so what we could do here is go like that, and not really mess much with this. So here what we could do more is go with the curves. And the curves are responsible for contrast. Same as in Photoshop, really. And they can, look what they can do. Look how much work just the curves can do. Let's say we wanted to make, a certain color pop more. See that green? Alright, well you'll go here to hue versus saturation. Pick a color, any color. You can pick from here, or you can pick a preset from here. Say I want green to look way better than the rest. So you pull up green, pull down the rest. You pull down the rest, everything else goes black and white, and as you see right here, there is only green. Look at that. That looks creepy. So, as you can see, before, after, with the green part that actually has color. That's a cool look. Actually, what I did for this original thing called Murder Bethesda Ridge is I went and made it so that instead of green, it was red that showed up. So here's what it'd look like with the color grade. And there was no red in this shot, so red wouldn't show up much. So, that's why I have green for this demonstration. Now here is where log can be shown to do better than other things, because even flat here, look, we're coming up some problems here. Got all these topping out. So definitely what you want to do here, since everything is so bright and nothing is even reaching close to zero, you're going to want to pull the lift down. Not that far down, because as said before, for some reason video editors love jumping with the stupid mouse. Just pull it down until it looks sort of normal. And there you go, that looks more normal. Now gain, you're going to want to pull this down, but look at this. We got lines. That means the sky is gone. And the sky being gone doesn't look professional at all. So what you'll want to do as a last resort to bring back the skies, go to hue versus luminance, pick blue and cyan, and pull them down to see if you can bring anything back. If you can bring anything back, then it'll pay in the long run. Just don't bring them down too much, or you'll start seeing little artifacts which are absolutely terrible looking. You might also want to play around with the saturation of those colors too, to see if you can bring out some sort of sky. There, we got sky in the corner. Before, everything looks bland. After, everything looks good. And of course, remember to save a lot.
So that is a simple tutorial for the easier sections, going from phone camera to beginner camera to a more advanced camera like a Panasonic. Now we are jumping to the 2 ways of shooting professionally. Log. Log looks so bad. Look at it. It looks like milk. And not a good kind of milk either. You got all these green parts and everything's in the middle, right? Well, here's the thing, right? The thing is, what I did, you remember this film. This film is Small Towns, if you watched on my channel. So, what you do with log footage is you usually have a LUT. And LUTs are just little tables that convert it from log, which is a really flat looking thing, to a very nice standard looking image. So if we were to drop vlog to V709 on here, then it looks a bit more normal. Problem with this is that it just looks terrible either way. So sometimes with log, what you might want to do is color grade manually, which is the case of what we're going to do here. We're going to color grade manually here. So you do your classic stuff. You bring down the lift until it nearly touches 0, but not all the way. Bring up the gain till it nearly touches 100, but not all the way. Because you do not want stuff that is close to being white to, completely clip. And now, last but not least, take your gamma and bring it down or up, which you think you'll need, if you need to. And saturation, you're going to want to push that up a lot. Not too much, though. So maybe 65 will be good. As you see, before, after. That is insane. You might, this is Mock's Dance from Small Towns again. And, what I did here is your camera manufacturer might give you some free looks to try out. So you might want to try those too.
Don't buy lookup tables from creators online. They do lookup tables to look good, but if you're just can't be bothered to do it yourself, usually you might want to actually hit auto color, which might give you something. This looks absolutely terrible, but sometimes it works. Or get the official manufacturer's thing that pulls it to 709 so you have more gradable image. Now Panasonic looks, what I did is I hit Golden 2, or Golden 1, was it Golden 1? No, Golden 2. All I did was put in Golden 2, and then I pulled down the gamma a little bit. And there you go, that's what my movie looked like, if you remember it. Yeah, this is what Small Towns looked like. Looked like that. Look at that. Oh, it's epic. Now, here's some more log footage, this time of my state flag of Maryland. And this time we will try the LUT again. As you see, it brings a lot more data in. Doesn't bring data in per se, but it looks like it does. Then you're going to want to do your classic thing. Oh, goodness. I hate when editors do this. Ugh! You see what's going on, right? It's not like I'm jumping like that. You're going to want to pull that down. Pull the gain up. Till it's almost too bright. Then, rule of thumb, maybe pull the gamma down a little bit. And look at that. Before, after. That's insanely good. You want to put some saturation in. Just make sure to do that. And look at that image. That just looks amazing. Before, after. That's incredible. Here's another example of log. Looks like nothing. Put this on, already looks better. Maybe pull the darks, goodness. Pull the darks a bit, pull the darks up. You see what goes on in editors sometimes? Sometimes they do nothing, right? Pull the darks a bit darker. Like that.
Pull the lights a bit lighter too. Then mess with gamma until it looks good, like that. Pull saturation to the right, if you want to. Before, after. Before, after. Looks great. So that is the basics of how to color grade in DaVinci Resolve for most people. Most people are shooting on cameras that shoot in these compressed formats called H.264 or H.265. They're recording formats meant to, save as much space as possible. Now, if you want to get into more professional style filmmaking, then you are using RAW or ProRes. ProRes is very similar to H.264, except it's huge because it's less compressed. And then there's RAW. Now, RAW, it's what you expect, except it's like a photo editing thing, except on steroids. So as you see here, we have flowers, and just like log footage, it looks milky and terrible. But here what you do is you go here to camera raw, decode using clip if you need to make any changes to the thing, and you can change the ISO after the fact. You can change the color space, you can change the gamma, you can even change the color temperature and everything. Most of the time you don't need to if you expose properly, but if you didn't, if you made a mistake, you can usually fix it here. Now, if you want to color grade this manually, you just bring it down like usual, bring it up with the highlights, give it a little, I'm going to give it a little lower thing in gamma like that, pull saturation to whatever you want, maybe a bit lower for this one, look at that. As we see, before, after. It looks even better than Vlog. But here's the thing about raw cinema camera footage. It's not sharp. If you like the film look that's not sharp, and don't mind the noise in the background, that's my frickin' washing machine, then you're good already. But if you do mind it not looking that sharp, go here to blur. And yeah, I know it's called a blur, but if you click here in this menu, you can go to sharpen, and then you just have to click here, the little magic thing, click AB, and it'll show you the edges. Now what you want to do is take the radius, pull it down until you can see the edges, but not too much, so usually around 45 down to 40 is good. Then you can click the magic thing again to turn it off, there. So then you get a little comparison. And look at this. Before, really soft. After, you get some sharpness. And it still looks really nice. So that's good for more, YouTube-oriented things. How about nighttime? Nighttime with Blackmagic RAWs, you see these lights are clipping, this sign is clipping, you got water and stuff. So you can pull down the lift like before, right? Try pulling down the gain, but uh-oh, these are gone. So you want to go here, decode using clip, then click highlight recovery. And boom! These are back. Like magic. Blackmagic. But, you see it brings these back. So it's just a little option that you have just in case you mess up exposure or the sun looks terrible. As you see here, we can get this looking rather okay. Lacking a bit of character, so I decided to go and not mess this up because apparently I've gotten a lot worse at color grading recently. Woo! Oh, that looks kind of cool. Okay, before, after. This one isn't as big of a jump, except you do see that details come back in the lights. And if you want to add your sharpening, go to 45 or whatever, and then you get your sharpening. Now, then there's vast scenes like this. As you see, the sun is gone. The sun's there. It's gone. And you have everything here. So you do your usual stuff. Pull the lift down. Gain up. Except make sure this clip thing stays a bit below for what you'll do later. And then gamma, whatever. And then you go back here, clip. Highlight recovery on. Look at that. Look at that. The sun appears. It appears right there. And then you can bring down the gain a little bit more because it gives you more leeway to do that. You can bring up the gamma to make it look normal again. And then throw the saturation. Yeah, I'm basically going to throw the saturation here. Give a little purplish lift. Yellowish, orangish glow. Make it look like California, right? Because this is California here. And there you go. Look at that. Before, after. Look at that pollution in California. It's terrible. But, I mean, here, these are just examples of things that you can do. You can add your little sharpening if you want to. And that's the nice thing about RAW. It can display the sun like this. While most cameras will just make the sky white at this point. Now here's an example with a person. Here is TGA RAID. And this is an example of something being underexposed. It's down here in the like 25th percentile range. So if you want to bring it up, go to Clip, ISO, and look at this. We'll go to 400. Boom! Now it's like I just shot it with a completely different setting on the camera. Amazing. So I can then just pull down lift. Not too much though, you stupid program. Pull up gain. Not the program's stupid, it's just that editors always do this. The Premiere Pro did this problem too. And we can just do some nice reddish lift. Yellowish gain. Bluish gamma. Maybe make that gain a bit more yellow. Just looking for the right mix. Pull saturation to 60. Yeah, there's something about getting the colors right that makes a lot more sense. It's hard to do. So you see, I can't really recreate what Backyard Wars 5 originally looked like, but look at that versus that. It looks amazing. Now, for instance, what you'll want to do after you know, you make your little grade, your first grade for your film, like let's say this is a film, right? You're gonna want to right-click on the thumbnail down here and generate 3D LUT 65 point, which then means that you can just name it something like that and save it, and it'll go there. It'll go here into any folder that you want. So like make your own folder, because there are already a lot of folders here, like presets to change things. And for instance, I made several LUTs, so many LUTs, it's insane. I'm not selling them because I don't do that stuff. Here, for instance, we have Backyard Wars 5 clip ready, so all I have to do is drop it. Look at that. Look at that. Now that is intensely good for the color. Look at that. So yeah, that's just my little rambling on how to do color grading. Just make sure things don't clip usually. The higher end camera you have, the better it'll be at color grading. So you can see lowest end looks good right out of the box. You don't need to do color grading really, but then you don't have the creative freedom of color grading. Lower end cameras don't look the best. Mid end cameras look better. High end cameras look great. And the highest end cameras, the cinema cameras, can look quite remarkable if you know what you're doing. For instance, here in this grade, I didn't know what the heck I was doing. So, I could just pop on a little grade, like there's Backyard Wars 5. See, not all LUTs work in the same way. You can try any LUT that you have from before on your new stuff. Might work, might not. This looks alright. And it also depends on what camera you use. If you switch cameras later on, use a LUT that you used for your older camera. Oh, wow. Yeah, this is supposed to be for a Matrix-like thing. Then it will not work. It might look cool, but it won't look the same. Also, a last note, usually camera manufacturers make their own little LUTs to switch. Like if I had a Sony camera, I would be using these for S-Log, depending on which one I used. If I had a DJI drone, then you could do that. And yeah, so let's say you want to do Blackmagic design, 4K film to video. Look how bad that looks. 4K film to extended video, that looks better. That's Blackmagic's official thing, and it looks pretty good. Usually the camera things are meant as a stepping stone so that you get what you want to, what you think you want it to look like before you actually grade it to make it look like what you actually want it to look like. So yeah, that is it. If you want to render to YouTube, just click this rocket button, put it to whatever thing you want. Do not use these presets because they render really low quality. You're rendering of one of your films, right? You want to do H.264 master, it'll look really nice. You going straight to YouTube, do H.265 master, but the free version doesn't have that, so just do H.264 master and make sure the encoder is set to whatever graphics card you have so that it goes way faster. And then advanced settings, make sure everything is set for forced to highest quality, pretty much. So force sizing, force debayer, and there you go. Then you'll just want to name it whatever. Make sure you browse to the location, click add to render queue, and then start render. And then there you are in the world of filmmaking. And yeah. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I will make more tutorial videos like this if you want. Make sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you really want to. I mean, my channel's been kind of stale, and I hope this might resurge it a bit. So yeah, hope you guys are having a wonderful day and a wonderful weekend. Stay safe, make sure to keep yourselves clean because of coronavirus. And yeah, see you guys in the next video. Peace.